Hi, friends. Okay, I'm going to show you how to think about the question, why does the United States have a high number of cases of coronavirus while looking through the lens of the economic, social, political, and environmental? Move myself up here for a minute. Okay, so in this assignment, what we're going to do is click on this link over here in the peach box, and that's going to take us to an NPR site. It's an article here entitled Reopening After COVID, the three phases recommended by the White House. The first thing I want you to do is peruse this resource. In other words, read it. Try not to feel like you have to close read it, but I do want you to actually read this source. So if you need to open it in Cami, if you need to download it, if you want to take notes, you can, but you don't have to. I just want you to read the source. Okay, the next thing I'm going to have you do is respond to the blue prompts by typing in the green boxes. So the first thing is a familiar skill that you've been practicing and getting pretty good at, which is evaluating the credibility of the source. So I've given you a link here to remind you what the 6 markers of credibility are. I would like you to use 3 markers of credibility. Some of us have been using other criteria for credibility that's not one of these 6 markers, and I would really like you to use one of the 6 markers of credibility. So in the assignment, it says, think about 3. So in your response here, you're literally going to type 3 markers of credibility, but you're also going to explain how this NPR site has them or doesn't have them. Okay, then I'd like you to evaluate the overall credibility of this NPR source. So if you think overall, after weighing out these markers of credibility, it's credible, then I'm going to highlight or fill in this box green. Okay, if I think it's moderately credible, I'm going to fill it in yellow. And if I think this source is not very credible based on the markers of credibility, I'm going to fill it in red. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is think about these prompts. And it might take you a little while, but after reading the source, I really want you to think about each of these lenses. This is how geographers approach an issue. So, in terms of the economic lens, I've given you some prompts. What are the businesses doing? How is this need for jobs, needing money, needing to be able to buy food for your family, have a strong economy with a good GDP? How does this impact the spread of the virus? Now, again, we're using information from this NPR site. So you can just go with what you're getting from the site. Okay, don't feel like you have to research other sources at this time. We are going to look at other sources later, but not today. Okay, in terms of social, what are people doing? How are they going to school? How are they working? How are they engaging in day-to-day behavior? Okay, and again, we're using whatever the source is telling us. We're not necessarily researching other information. Just what is this source saying? And how does this impact the spread of the virus? Okay, so politically speaking, what is the government doing? How are our leaders and decisions impacting the spread of the virus? Now, this source is going to be talking about the phases of reopening, which the White House has said governors are supposed to be in charge of deciding what phase their state is in. Okay, and it talks about trajectory up and trajectory down. So I want you to be thinking about that. What is the government plan and how is that impacting the spread of the virus? Okay, and then finally, I want you to think about our country and the way it's laid out, the size of it, the population, the scale of it compared to other countries, the fact that some people live in cities and some people don't live in cities, the fact that we have so many cities, how does that impact the spread of the virus? And again, we're going based on what this source says. So again, don't feel like you have to look up other sources at this time. We're going to start with just this one source, okay? All right, if you have any questions at all, pop back in the meeting. If you're working on this at another time in the day where our synchronous meeting is not taking place or our class is not taking place and you can't hop in and just ask me a question, please email me. Okay, I'm always available for answering your questions. All right, have fun.